Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. Valentine's Day is celebrated on February 14 annually across most countries of the world. This is a day set aside for people to show love and appreciate one another. And interestingly, it coincides with Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of the Lenten season of fasting, prayers, repentance, and a sober reflection to remind all Christians of the mortality of man. While both concepts seem contradictory, the National Director, Social Communications, Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, Reverend Father Michael Umor, says both celebrations present the perfect opportunity for Christians to show love to one another in a way and manner that is pleasing to God. Let's now join Clearview's correspondent for details.
Every year, Orthodox faithful in Nigeria join their counterparts around the world to mark Ash Wednesday, which is the beginning of Lent, a season characterized by prayer, fasting, and penance. To commemorate the day, parishioners attend church service at various locations with a sign of the cross marked on their forehead with ash. In many congregations, the ashes are prepared by burning palm branches used during the previous Palm Sunday. On Palm Sunday of every year, churches bless and hand out palm branches to the faithful, a reference to the Gospel's account of Jesus' triumphal entry to Jerusalem when onlookers lay palm branches on his path. But how significant is Ash Wednesday and the observance of Lent to Christians all over the world? Reverend Father Michael Umor is the National Director, Social Communications, Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria.
Today is Ash Wednesday, so called because one, it's a Wednesday, and two, ashes are distributed. It marks the beginning of the Lenten season for all Christians and particularly for Catholics. The essence of Ash Wednesday itself lies in the symbol of the ashes, that man is dust and unto dust man will return. Because as we continue to be very busy about our life, our work, our business and whatever, there is that likelihood of forgetting that we are not just flesh, we are also, very importantly, spiritual beings. So while we can be very busy about satisfying the needs of our body, we run into the danger of likely forgetting to take care of our spiritual needs too, that we have a soul. So, as prompted by the prophet Joel, who called everybody to repentance and request, put on sackcloth, put ashes on your foreheads, seek the face of the Lord, and ask for forgiveness. So too, every Christian, every human being, as it were, puts on that ashes as a mark of personal self-accusation. Not anybody accusing you now, but I myself, I acknowledge my sinfulness and my need of God.
Speaking further on this year's Valentine's Day celebration, which collided with the Ash Wednesday, Father Umor noted that both celebrations are significant as they present the perfect opportunity for Christians to show love to one another in a way and manner that is pleasing to God.
There is no contradiction really, because the whole of Lent, starting with Ash Wednesday, is a call to true love of the one who has already loved us. So it's beautiful, therefore, that the day itself is challenging all of us to the true meaning of love. Ash Wednesday challenges everybody to true meaning of love at Valentine. Apart from the food part, because of fasting, people should still be able to celebrate that day in the spirit of love of God and true love of neighbor.
The Lent is a 40-day season which ultimately ends with celebrations on Good Friday and Easter Monday, while Valentine's Day is a Christian feast day set aside to honor an early Christian martyr named Saint Valentine for his devotion and sacrifice for love to thrive hundreds of years ago. The day has now become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of love, romance, and affection all over the world, characterized by giving of gifts, candlelight dinners, songs, renditions of poems, and pleasant surprises. Both celebrations, indeed, highlight the need for one to deny self and show love to people around them.
A Nigerian soldier, simply identified as Ade Paul, has faulted the decision of President Bola Tinubu to gift Super Eagles players houses, plots of land, and national honors after they came second in the recently concluded African Cup of Nations, at a time soldiers in the battlefield are not receiving recognition. The soldier, who said he sustained a bullet injury while serving in the Northeast, took to his X handle to express his frustration. He made his position known while reacting to a post by an X user, Dr. Penking, who tweeted, "Even Ahmed Musa, wey no kick ball once for AFCON, follow collect flat, land and OON. Wonderful times." Reacting to the post, the soldier, while sharing a picture, wrote, "Yet, as a soldier, I stayed in the Northeast fighting Boko Haram for 4 years plus. I was shot and I am still carrying the bullet in me till date, not even a medal from the army or Nigerian government." Tinubu had on Tuesday conferred the national honor of Member of the Order of the Niger on every member of the Super Eagles team that won silver medal at AFCON. Nigerian relationship expert Blessing CEO has advised couples to refrain from telling each other everything about their past to avoid being judged. She made the statement on a recent episode of the Pulse podcast centered on relationships. She stressed the need for some secrecy in relationships in regards to individual pasts. Blessing CEO emphasized the possibility of being judged after opening up because, according to her, humans are judgmental in nature. She went on to advise people to forget their partner's past when getting into a new relationship because human beings judge without knowing it at times. The National Human Rights Commission says it has received 1,147 escalating instances of human rights abuses across Nigeria, including the Federal Capital Territory in the month of January. The senior advisor to the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Hilary Ogbonna, who made this known during his inaugural edition of the Human Rights Dashboard and Observatory, said out of 1,147 cases of human rights violation received across Nigeria in January, domestic violence is a leading issue, with 528 cases reported. The report.
Revealing the statistics of human rights violations across Nigeria, the senior advisor to the Executive Secretary of Human Rights Commission, Hilary Okponanya, expressed dismay as the North Central Zone topping the charts for rights violations, with Abuja alone registering 382 out of 1,147 complaints received by the Commission in January. Okponanya lamented that these figures only represented a fraction of the actual violations, as many incidents went unreported.
Across geopolitical zones, the total of human rights violations occurred largely in the North Central. And of course, this is because of Abuja. Abuja has, in terms of per capita, individual geographical bodies, Abuja has a total of 382 out of the 1,147 human rights violations across Nigeria. Abuja records 382. Then this is followed by the Northwest, and then the Northeast, and then the South-South, Southeast, and the Southwest. Southwest is the least.
Highlighting the prevalence of domestic violence across the country, Okponanya said cases of wife battery, rape, child abandonment and assault top the list of rights violations, followed by surge in kidnappings, targeting children and young individuals in Nigeria.
The highest level of domestic violence, we have it in the Northwest. This, of course, is followed by the North Central in domestic violence with 86, and then the South-South with 75, the Northeast with 66. For domestic violence, which I told you is the more than 60% of what we have, actually 528, it constitutes wife battery, violence on wives, rape, child abandonment, and assault. These are on the increase across Nigeria, and I think this calls for concern. Then under state actor, we have largely the Nigerian police force in terms of violation of human rights, followed slightly by the military, the civil defense, the road safety and customs. But largely the Nigerian police force. In terms of non-state actors, the violations occurred by Boko Haram, ISWAP, bandits, ESN, militias, private security. Kidnappings across Nigeria increased in the month under review. Children and young people have become soft targets, and we are almost going back to the Chibok days, where schools are targeted and children are kidnapped, are becoming victims of kidnapping, whether at home or in the school.
The dashboard, according to Okponanya, serves as a monthly analytical tool and graphical representation of the human rights landscape in Nigeria. He underscored that the Human Rights Observatory was established for monitoring, reporting, and analyzing human rights violations across the country, as well as documenting and disseminating complaints. Imefonokun, reporting for Clever News.
You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.